Good day, Ted Ciuba. Glad to be here with you today doing an author review of From Writing Poetry to Crashing 747s. Available. You can run and get your copy at thinkrich.com/crashing. Volume 22 in the sub 4 minute extra mile series. And of course, you know, everything we do in the sub 4 minute mile is kind of capsulizes, it takes the training process, the motivation process, the goal setting process that Roger Bannister so well illustrates and he used so successfully to run the sub 4 minute mile. Trained, didn't have much time at all. He was a busy pre-med student at Oxford University, neurobiology. 30 minutes a day, defied any conventional standard of training, not to mention going for that goal was not, quote unquote, encouraged. He did it in short, regular, focused, intense, intended training sessions. You're going to get an example today. That's what we do in every single session. Every single volume has 19 training sessions in it to help you redefine personal possibility. And today we're looking at a course I am going to read From Writing Poetry to Crashing 747s. Cool little stuff. But we always like to connect with at least a couple of them, at least in title. And so there is a rhythm wherever you are. Adjust. Be vigilant. Row, row, row your boat. Clearly the market speaks. This one's got to have something to say. A good portion of my life remains before me. I want to go read that one. Right now, we are going to all run and jump and fun, have a good time reading From Writing Poetry to Crashing 747s, my friend. Here we go. From Writing Poetry to Crashing 747s. I remember exactly where I was at the change of the millennium. It was 31 December, 1999, combined with and reaching over to 1 January 2000. That's the change of the millennium, New Year's Eve. I've often wondered how many careers were destroyed or should have been. If you remember back then, we were involved in the Y2K mania and pandemonium. We were frightened ablazes to death that security systems weren't going to work, that airplanes would lose their navigation mid-flight, and that Star Wars was going to KABOOM. And that even our personal laptops wouldn't work. Now, I know we didn't all have laptops back then as we do today, and even smaller and more precise, but you catch my drift. I remember where I was. I was about 100 miles east of Bogotá, Colombia, in the Andes Mountains, on the side of a mountain. Like all good Latinos, we, of course, celebrated well and brought in the new year. Very memorable year that year, too. There were a lot of different Colombian customs I was new to, and I loved every minute of it. And in the morning, I woke about 7 a.m. when my eyes popped open. I go outside the front porch where the mountain eastern sun is shining in all its glory, morning full glory. There's a chair I sit myself down in. I'm in flow. Very cool location after all. On a pretty cool day. And I'm writing a little poetry to my significant other who I'm there with. And my laptop's working perfectly fine. There was no radio at that remote distance, and at that time they didn't have the same worldwide connectivity we do today with cell phones. Of course, now I've got a cell phone worldwide, laptop connection worldwide that works most places, but it doesn't always work when you get remote like that. We didn't know, short story, if the rest of the world existed or not. Of course, I had my suspicions it did. Though I wouldn't find out for sure until we got back on the road and in touch with radio signals. You know, CDs don't count. Wow. Okay, so we go from writing poetry to crashing 747s, all in the same change of the year, all in the same threat. It's interesting how we humans can exaggerate what we focus on, and we can manipulate and hypeulate something we want to sell. And we must, as consumers, guard against being over-hypeulated. I never bought into the Y2K. I never did. I read the explanations. I bought a software patch, and it was installed in less than 3 seconds. I'm talking about processing time, 3 seconds. That was the extent of the Y2K, and some people crested it into an information marketing fortune. Of course, it crashed on them immediately after the new millennium came. You know what? It was the same exaggerated millennium mania they had the last millennium. Imagine that. And the stories that come from the millennium prior to that are even greater. And when you get even the millennium prior to that, wow, this millennium madness, something. But this one, I've often wondered how many careers were destroyed. Hey, your friend Ted Ciuba, thanks for tuning in to the author review of From Writing Poetry to Crashing 747s, Volume 22 in the Sub 4 Minute Extra Mile series. Go get your copy, available at thinkrich.com/crashing. Thinkrich.com/crashing. Go, guys. Good to be with you.